Hi everyone, I'm Sequoia. Thanks for stopping by my channel. Today I'm sharing my latest pattern hack using the Love Notions Margot pattern with the Love Notions Summer Basic Maxi Dress pattern. I'm using the skirt portion from the Summer Basic and the Margot bodice and sleeve. As you can see, my bodice is a little bit different than what's included in the pattern. I have raised the neckline as well as used the slash and spread method to create a lot of fullness and give myself a balloon style sleeve, which is just really pretty, especially when using the stretch mesh. I'm actually wearing the Love Notions Laundry Day Tee V-neck style dress underneath my pattern hack for today. They went really well together. They're a great complement to each other, and I'm just really excited about my new outfit. So for today's video, I'm going to teach you how to adjust the Margot bodice to recreate this look. If you would like to try it out, it's really fun. I give you a few tips and tricks, and I think you'll enjoy it as well. My fabric today is this really pretty stretch mesh. This is from Stitch and Pretties. It's called Talia. It's currently on sale if you love it. I highly recommend giving it a try. This was actually my first pattern that I used stretch mesh to create the look, and it sewed up wonderfully. I used my serger. I didn't have any trouble. The quality is really great, so I think you would absolutely enjoy it. The colors are really pretty, which I really like. I love floral prints, so this just really makes me happy, so I hope you like it as well. Before we get into the pattern hack, I just want to remind you to, if you haven't followed my channel, just go ahead and give me a like and hit the subscribe button and the bell if you would like to receive notifications every time I upload a vlog here on YouTube. I appreciate your support, and I hope you enjoy what I'm making here. Okay, the first step to adjusting this sleeve pattern into the puff sleeve that we're creating today is to find the center of our pattern from the bottom. Your pattern already has a mark indicating the middle of the sleeve cap, but we need to go from the bottom for what we're doing. So just kind of give it a light press so you know where that line is, and if you want, you can draw it on. I'm going to do that just so you guys can see it. I'm not sure how well that fold will show up for you. So now we've divided our pattern in half, and now we need to divide the bottom section so we can do the slash and spread method to create more volume towards the bottom of the sleeve. So I think I'm going to use, I think I want to split this every 3 inches. Maybe 3.5. Let's go 3. So just make a little mark. And then you can use your quilting ruler, or if you feel confident, you can, I guess, eyeball it. I'm not that confident, so I need to use my ruler. And you're just connecting a line from the bottom of your pattern up towards the center of the sleeve cap where we made our fold. Okay, now that we have divided up our pattern, we're going to go ahead and cut along the lines we've created. You can use your scissors or your rotary cutter, whichever you feel comfortable with, but the important thing is to not cut all the way through the sleeve cap. You want to leave a little bit of paper there to create a hinge so everything doesn't fall apart when we start moving it. Just to you can use this same technique for pretty much any pattern hacks you want to do where you want to add volume. You could do this on a skirt to flare out the bottom more. Obviously, you can do it on a sleeve because that's what we're doing here. You could do it upside down on the sleeve where you'd be cutting from this point to the top if you wanted to add more room at the top sleeve cap, like if you want to create some sort of gathering effect. Just need a piece of tape there where my pattern is printed. Okay, so now our pattern is in several pieces, and we're just going to go ahead and slide some scrap paper underneath. This is going to become our new pattern base. Okay. So originally, before we split this pattern, the width of the elbow hemline on this particular size was 17 inches. So we're going to add a few more inches just because I want a little bit more of a bubble effect at the bottom. I'm still going to gather the bottom into like an elbow cuff, but I want it to be a little bit fuller. I'm using a mesh fabric, so I just think that'd be really pretty. So once you get your pieces spread out, you can start adding some tape. If you're really particular, you could absolutely measure all these little blades that we're putting in, but I'm just sort of eyeballing things because that's kind of how I do things. I'm sure in the background you can hear a very sleepy dog who is snoring like crazy. I did tell him quiet on the set, so he's taking that pretty seriously, aside from the snoring. Alright, we kind of have the top filled in, so let's go ahead and finish the bottom. Slide some more papers in there. And it's okay to have this additional paper at the bottom because we're going to use that to round off the bottom of the sleeve, so we still have a straight edge there. Obviously, adjusting the pattern this much, it's completely changing the lines across the bottom of the pattern. So I will show you guys how to fix that. This blade's out a little bit too far, so I just want to pick it up and move it in just a little bit. That's better. So once everything's pretty well taped down, we'll be good to go. Obviously, it's not going to be completely flat because we've adjusted a lot, but once you cut it in fabric, you won't be able to tell. So now that we have our pattern completely spread apart, we have added about 9 inches, which is going to be perfect. I'm using a mesh fabric, so it's still going to be very lightweight and sheer, but I think it's going to create a really pretty effect. So here we just want to redraw our sleeve cap. Anytime you do an adjustment that requires you to spread the pattern, the bottom portion, even if you're just doing a standard bicep adjustment, it will drop this little point in. So you always need to fill that back in, or you're going to have like a weird hole. It doesn't have to be perfect, but you need it to be curved and you need to fill in all this hollow space. You're going to need that distance for fitting into your sleeve pattern. So we've trimmed across there. Let me throw another piece of tape in there because sometimes it tries to fall apart. Okay, now we need to work on sorting out the bottom. Okay, so we're going to work on straightening out the bottom so it'll be ready for our cuff that we're going to create. So I'm going to kind of go of an average here in the middle just to give myself kind of a guideline. And this is completely, I don't want to say like a made up area, but you just kind of guesstimate where you're shooting for. There's no real rule as to where it needs to be. But we do want our sleeve to be complete. So we need to follow our sides. I'm going to just follow it down. And this is going to look gigantic, but that's exactly what I want. We have now created some angles that our sleeve is coming out to. So again, we're just going to trim off the extra. This might be a little bit I think I could have done a better job of making that even. So I'm just going to trim across. And I'm kind of just eyeballing on my mat. I'm just matching up grid lines so that they're hitting near the same area on my cutting mat. And that's just so, we did good guesstimating. That's so when we finish our sleeve and go to sew them together, they're the same length, which is the main goal. So this has given us all the room I'm going to need for this particular sleeve hack. And the next thing we need to do is a small adjustment on the front bodice. I want to raise the neckline because I intend to wear this mesh dress over a different pattern, and I don't want the necklines, I don't want the mesh overlay neckline to be lower than the V-neck of the dress that I made to wear under this. So let me show you how to raise the neckline, and we will continue on to making our dress. Okay, so I have now printed and cut out the Margo front and back bodice pieces. I'm using the full bust option. It comes included with the pattern, which gives me a little bit more room on the side. It's recommended that you use that pattern if there is a 4-inch difference between your high bust and your full bust. So that just gives me a little bit better fit without having to do the work, which I appreciate. So I want to adjust my necklines because I need my mesh overlay dress to have a higher neckline than the dress I'm wearing under it. So I feel okay about the back neckline. It's pretty high, so we're not going to make any changes to it. But the front is a lower scoop neck. And I definitely want to raise that up. And that's a pretty easy adjustment. All we need to do is tape in a piece of paper to work with. Just a scrap. And we're just going to redraw this neckline curve. I'm going to flip it upside down just because that'll be a little bit easier for me to work with. I don't want to change the shoulder at all. I just want to bring the neckline up a few inches. So I'm going to stay at the same point where the original neckline began at the shoulder. And we're just going to redraw that. can cut away your excess fabric. When you're doing a neckline adjustment, remember that if you always start a little more cautious, you can still take away. But if you cut it too low to begin with, then you're not going to be able to change it. So sometimes it's best to err on the side of caution. So this is probably, it's about 2 1/4 inches higher than it was, which is going to be great. I plan on wearing this over the Laundry Day Tee V-neck. So I think that is going to be a perfect adjustment. So now I just need to continue with cutting out my pattern pieces, or I'm sorry, my fabric pieces. I need to cut out the front and the back bodice as well as the sleeves. And I've already cut out my skirt pieces, which is a different pattern. But I'm going to show you how everything comes together at the end. So stick around and let me know what you think about this process. So the finished dress turned out really nice. I'm very happy with it. I used my serger to create the look. I would love to do pretty little twirls for you, but the fact is I'm currently should be standing on crutches, so I can't give you the full effect, but I'm definitely happy. These two patterns worked really well together. So I hope you love the look as well. This mesh is absolutely beautiful. The quality, I'm really impressed with it. And I think you will as well.